left if that's available.
Papa Hotel Tango India Mike, Palm Springs Tower, Squawk 6250.
6250.
Papa Hotel Tango India Mike, Palm Springs altimeter is 2985, radar contact about 10 miles west of the Palm Springs VOR. Presently landing runway 31, so requesting straight up for 13.
If that's available, yes please.
Ever correction, Papa Hotel Tango India Mike, nice straight in runway 13 left, and clear to land. Wind is 0905.
Clear to land, runway 3 left, Papa Hotel Tango India Mike, thanks.
Palm Springs clearance plus 4658 type P6 final stand call frequency clearance to Vegas S file.
Plus 4658, Palm Springs clearance. Good afternoon. Unable to give you S file, and I'll be full route standby. Plus 4658 is cleared to the Las Vegas Airport. VFI Cathedral 1 departure procedure to Palm Springs. Victor 370 to 29 Palms. Victor 538. Cresso. Join the Cresso 3 arrival. Maintain 7,000. Expect flight level 2405 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 126.7. Squawk 6316.
Plus 4658 is cleared to Vegas via Cathedral 1, Palm Springs, Victor 37029, Palms, Victor 538, Cresso 3. Initially climb 7,000 expected for director 5, departure 166 plus 6316 plus 4658.
Plus 4658, feedback is correct. Tango India Mike, taxi to ramp, yeah, go ahead on this frequency.
Taxi to the ramp, remaining on this frequency, Papa Hotel Tango India Mike.
Ontario Tower, Cessna 237 Charlie Alpha, approximately 4 miles to the west, inbound to land.
Number 237, Charlie Alpha, roger, inner left, traffic. Left downwind, runway 26 left, report base.
Enter left downwind 26 left, and we'll call you base 237 Charlie Alpha.
Charlie Tower, United 242 on the visual for 20 right, will be turning for a right base shortly.
United 242, John Wayne Tower, runway 20 right, clear to land, wind 170 at 13.
Clear to land, 20 right, United 242.
Papa Hotel Tower, Gaming M5 Kilo ILS runway 24.
Here 523 Yankee Kilo Palomar Tower, runway 24, clear to land, wind 210 at 11. Number 237, Charlie Alpha, runway 26 left, clear to land.
26 left, clear to land 7 Charlie Alpha.
Palm Springs route plus 4658 is transferred to weather going for taxi.
Plus 4658, Palm Springs ground, runway 31 right, taxi to Echo and Bravo.
Trail right via Echo Brown 465.
Riverside Tower, good morning, November 2 of the Alpha, with you on the ILS.
Number 2903 Alpha, Riverside Tower, good afternoon. Runway 9 clear low approach, report missed.
November 2 of the Alpha, cleared low approach, runway 9. Next report is missing.
Palm Springs Tower plus 4658 ready to go to right side brown.
Plus 4658, Palm Springs Tower, runway 31 right, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff to right plus 465.
Papa Hotel Tower, India 560 Kilo Victoria 24.
Here's our Yankee Kilo, roger, taxi into the ramp via Alpha.
Via Alpha.
Plus 4658, contact SoCal departure.
Contact departure 465.
Hey guys, welcome.
Charlie Alpha's clearly active, taxi to the GA parking base.
Number 7 Charlie Alpha, remain on this frequency.
Happy Saturday.
Ramp via Sierra.
South
Forward to
West
fly, guys.
270.
Long haul, long distance flight at night.
290 of the Alpha going around.
Sun is going down here, French Valley.
Going around or going missed?
November 2 of the Alpha going missing.
Number 03 Alpha, roger, execute the published missed approach procedure.
Flying at published mid-approach procedure. November 2 of the Alpha.
Piper 2903 Alpha, contact SoCal departure.
Contact departure, 03 Alpha.
Number 03 Alpha, departure frequency will be 13.
It's going to be a
135.445.
134 nautical mile flight from French Valley, Aqua Dulce, I mean. Aqua Dulce, I always mistake those two. Aqua Dulce, that's our current location. Sun is going down at Aqua Dulce, and we're going to fly from Aqua Dulce to Oceano, guys. And it's going to be a pretty long flight, as I just said, 134 nautical mile flight. 16 gallons of fuel that we need. and we've got a 17 knot headwind. My gosh. But luckily the weather is fine. A cold front here on the Southern California area has just moved from the northwest to the southeast and leaves really pretty weather. So I'm quite pleased actually. This is the prime time to fly. So I'm really excited. It's going to be challenging though at night without any visual reference point. So I hope I will succeed. I will also try to contact approach at one point during the flight to get some flight following. So it's going to be a dynamic flight, I hope. First off, before I start, just some notes also by reviewing the previous flight. So again, the clock. Yeah, I've been using the clock in the previous stream, but not that religiously. So I really need to use the clock in a more sensible academic way, not just pressing a button. That's good that I do not forget to do that, but also the clock only makes sense when you also plan on time, right? If you know how long time it takes, how much time it takes to get from A to B, right? And review. So I should be much more considerate of my time while using the clock, which seems quite obvious. Still, that's important. Also, I really like that comment by Nietzsche in the previous stream saying that at any moment in time in cruise, when you get comfortable, that's the time when you need to do something. That's a cue to get alert. Because there's so much to do also in cruise, getting ADIS information, planning, rehearsing your arrival. So I think that's also a good mantra for me to further develop and sink in. And also that third point is also quite interesting, I think. That is to track my own and make my own navigation, VFR navigation log, my own cross-country log. So in ForeFlight, that's already been automated based on what you put in, nav log, as you can see here, which is great and takes over a lot of work. But in my case, especially as a student, virtual student pilot, I think it's very educational just to make your own navigation log, also just to do the calculations before. And also then by leg, by each leg, note the time it took and how much gallons you actually burned to get from to complete that particular leg, to look at the winds, and so I think that will make me much more aware and conscious of each leg and also using the clock and that stuff, because now the clock still to me is kind of like an additional kind of thing that I should use and nothing more, right? But actually it's a central piece to my navigation, to my planning. So I think when I'm making my own navigation log, I think then the clock also will make a lot more sense and becomes much more integral to what I'm doing here in my flight. That's just an expectation, I don't know. So I'm looking for an app that I can use to also show you on stream how I make or use a navigation log and keep track of that while I'm flying. I think that's a really nice addition, but I'm still looking for apps that look and work smooth. So that's something that I'm preparing for next stream. I think that's interesting. Anyway, any other notes here? No, just clock flying, and again also for today that's going to be interesting. Also been looking still for a LOA script for X-Plane to reduce those aircraft lights, those external beacon lights. Couldn't find one, so if anyone knows of a script or a plugin for X-Plane, let me know to do that, because I think the external lights of airplanes here in PilotEdge are a little bit too bright and so unrealistic. Hey Sniper, good afternoon to you. Well, you as well. I've just finished watching yesterday's stream on YouTube and I missed, as I missed you live yesterday. All right. Yeah, there's a lot of content now pushing out that I push out to YouTube. So there's a lot of time there that you need to actually keep on track. But still, I've got time to fly, and so I make the most use of it. Okay, so our flight. So again, a long distance flight at night. As you see, the sun is really going down, so it's going to be complete darkness here soon on Aqua Dulce. Let's first have a look at the weather. Again, as I already mentioned. Oh yeah, what I also did was update the weather charts, more complete ones, also more updated ones. So the sequence here is going to be a little bit different, but I guess more complete. So as you can see, that cold front that we also saw coming our way in the previous streams is now passed. It's already outside of the California area, but again we see a low pressure still touching on the California area, so perhaps we might see some bad weather, but usually when a cold front passes, that indicates or brings along good weather, as you will see in a moment. So AirMats, this one is valid for 090. Now I also looked up what this confused me, was confusing to me in the previous streams, because it's issued this chart, as you can see in the left bottom, on 1125 Zulu, but it's valid for 090. And I thought that they always do forecasts, so I thought this is a weird kind of depiction. But what just happens is these guys just update also that the past weather, the weather that was there around 0900. So as you can see now, all the AirMat charts that I will show you are still issued around the 1125 time, but as I move forward, it becomes more like a forecast rather than a description of what the weather was like around 09. So that's why. I guess this confused me, but this is the explanation. Hey MiniWebs, good to see you on stream. Okay, so this is 090. We're currently at 1433 Zulu. So these are, again, outdated charts, but again, it's good to see how the weather develops. So as you can see, a lot of IMC here, still around the Los Angeles area, IFR and fog. And that was perhaps because that cold front was still coming over LA. As we move on, you can see the developments. So just have a close watch on that LA area. And you can see that IMC is moving away. We're now at 1800 Zulu, so that's a few hours from now. This was at 1500. This is the most current weather chart in our case. So you can see, still see clouds and fog being indicated there in the San Diego area. But in our case, when we are at Agua Dulce and going especially up northwest, there's no AirMat active for our flight. So that's good as well. Then we move on to the significant weather charts. So again, 06 Zulu there to the left, outdated, but still a marginal VMC. And if we look to the 18 Zulu, we can still see marginal VMC. So the idea again is, or what interests me here is, what is that marginal VMC made of? Is it in terms of clouds or visibility or both? Also, there's a second, so this particular significant chart is issued on, can I see that? Is there a time? Because there are two actually. So here we compare 06 Zulu to 18 Zulu, but there's also another one that is then updated. This starts at 12 Zulu at the left and then goes up to 00 Zulu at night, midnight Zulu time. And obviously then that second chart, this second chart is a bit more reliable. At least in our case. So as you can see here, 12 Zulu, you can still see IMC there being depicted around the LA coast, the California coast, also some marginal VMC, and around 00 Zulu, it is gone. So the weather is actually improving. The question is has it already so much improved that we are ready to make this flight as VFR pilots? Satellite imagery, as you can see, not a lot of thick clouds, so the bad stuff is really far up north. But the LA area is not really covered in that much of a thick clouds layer. This is also a nice chart that I found. So this is again radar, but a time lapse. So this chart doesn't show where it is raining. It just shows where there's the most moisture in the area, and just indicates clouds. And probably when you see a lot of moisture in the clouds, that might also indicate rain, but not necessarily. As you can see in our area, there are some clouds, but not that thick clouds. This is the San Francisco area. As you can see here down, that's LA. And perhaps with Agua Dulce, we're about around this middle spot there, and we can see some weather there, perhaps a little bit north of us. So this kind of tells us what the weather is doing. So again, not a lot of clouds, but there's some activity. Now ceilings, well, this is 090, again, far from our current time. So let's move up a bit. This is 1200s. So as you can see, ceilings are around, well, in our case, around 3,000 feet or so. And then if we move forward in time, and the forecast is 1500 Zulu, this is in about 30 minutes. You can see that cloud layer is still there. We move on. It's still there, 3000. This is 1800. So I guess if for our flight, you can see that that marginal VMC stuff is mostly related to clouds. So we're still VMC, I guess, but looking at those flight category depictions on the sectional, but we might run into some clouds, and especially at night, that is a little bit unfortunate. BBT, welcome to the stream, and Wrecker, good to see you guys. Okay, so that's ceiling-wise. Now, talking about clouds, let's also look at precipitation forecast. So this is valid for 06 Zulu, so that's already far outdated. This is 12 Zulu, just a few hours ago. Again, no rain precipitation forecast there, and also on 1800 Zulu, also no indication of rain. So we've got clouds, but it's not rain clouds, and that also confirms the radar images that we saw earlier. Moving on, visibility then. Again, this is 09 Zulu on the ocean. 1200, you can see visibility is worsening a bit around the LA downtown area. 1500, it is improved again. And 1800, you can see again ocean and the LA area. So visibility will not be a concern, most likely, at least below 6 statute miles of visibility wise. So it mostly seems that we have to deal with clouds in terms of marginal VMC. Okay, moving on. 1200, yeah. So now winds. I picked a chart of around 6,000 feet. Usually when we make flights, we're around 4,000-ish, 6,000-ish kind of cruising altitude levels. And again, also, rather than just looking at one chart, you can also see how the winds are developing, right? So this is a chart valid on 1300 Zulu, so that's an hour ago or so. You can see winds are coming from the north downwards. You can almost depict there or infer the low pressure area. Counterclockwise turn there of the winds. So, and that also explains why ForeFlight gives us a strong headwind, right? Winds are coming, are drawn, pulled into from the north. So it's not going to be a really efficient flight. So we need to be very careful to look at our fuel in the tanks. So north winds and pretty strong as well. Well, that indicates those 22 knot winds. Again, this is a 3-hour forecast valid until 1600. So this applies to our actual flight. Again, strong winds northbound, and a 1900 Zulu also northbound. A little bit less in strength, it seems. But I guess around that time we're already there at Oceano. Okay, freezing levels are around... Well, Oceano is already around 9,000, as you can see. The yellow band there. So that means, again, looking at my previous experience with engine icing, especially related to oh, there's an aircraft that's now taxiing just in front of us. I don't know if you guys can see, but okay. That means that combined with clouds, that the that we might run the risk of the risk of icing. Now, I think that around Oceano, there, the yellowish line there, we are already at Oceano, probably already descending. But during our flight, it's going to be around 11,000 or so. So I guess the freezing levels are above, but we need to be wary of this because moist with ice with freezing levels means icing conditions. Now, there's also a chart about the probability of icing. Now, as you can see, at around 7,000 feet, there is actually none. Still, it's good to be aware of this. And that's about it. So some new charts, also some in a a bigger range in terms of time. So I think this is a really good addition to my weather briefing. Okay, back to the map. So in terms of weather, we can also look here at the tabs. So as you can see, VMC all around, currently at least. We can see some IMC here on top. That might be the weather that we also saw on the weather charts. And you can also see here, there's also IMC there, even more than IMC, extreme IMC. But that's to the north of us. And also just slightly here to the northeast, there's also still VMC around Palmdale. So I expect that we are just fine. We can look at some METARs here just to have a more local idea of what the weather is doing. Again, 0 winds, 9 statute miles, visibility clear skies. Like also have to look at the forecast. And again, as you see at the tabs, all green. The winds are becoming a little bit more stronger along the day, but not during our flights. And the Barbara, let's have a look. Again, 8 knots of winds, good visibility, clear, forecast, clear. Okay, so along the coast, it's unusual good weather actually here around the coast, but it seems to be just fine for our particular flights. Yeah, so this is great weather as well. You can see though here at around 1700 Zulu today, we might expect really gusty winds. So that might be quite interesting when we reach Oceano, especially as an airport just on the ocean side. I guess we're going to run into some interesting crosswind landings at night. So yeah, we'll have to see. Okay, and well, destination airport Oceano has lights. Important for a night flight, right? So let's have a closer look. Runway, click. Lights, medium intensity on the edges. Okay, that's good as well. And if you look at our route, we've got enough airports to divert to. Also fun now, within a 15 minutes or so, PilotEdge, also the controllers are live, so we could also listen to some radio. I'm going to pick up on flight following as well. But it means that also when we got to divert to a Delta class airspace, we are free to do so. We are always free to do so, but it's fun then that we can also chat with Tower. Yeah, so it's particularly that first leg from Aqua Delce to Fillmore that we don't have any great airport to divert to. So I guess, and also in terms of altitude, if we look at the terrain, we've got some terrain north of us here, around 5,000, 6,000. Here is Santa Barbara, 4,000. And then it's pretty much flat all the way. So we're going to go west. So 6,500 might be an altitude that we could use. We could also go one notch higher, 8,500. But then we might run into that freezing level kind of condition. However, though, we did see that the ceilings, looking at the charts, the ceilings were forecasted to be around 3,000-ish to 6,000-ish. So 6,500 might be a good cruising altitude, but 8,500 we might be in freezing levels, but not in clouds. And it's going to be a long trip, so it's also more efficient if we fly a little bit more high up. So I would say 8,500 is fine. Yeah, what do you guys think? I think 8,500 might be a good... good morning, Marcus of Gamer. Good to see you. Miniwave, she just landed on Lima 70. Okay, good. All right, now in terms of airspace, well, Aqua Delce is not much going on, just non-towered. We're going to go to the Fillmore VOR. Again, a lot of Victor Airways. I'd like to actually pick up flight following as soon as we're departing. And I'm going to contact, as you can see in these magenta boxes, a SoCal approach. Within 20 nautical miles, we're not going to fly towards Santa Barbara or so, or any other Class Charlie airspace, but SoCal approach is then the approach controller. You can use any local approach controller to contact for flight following. So as soon as I completed my departure already at cruising altitude, or I've got some time on my hands to contact them, I will do so and ask for flight following all the way to Oceano. Especially around the Santa Barbara area, it's good to know that we're safe and clear of traffic, or alerted for traffic. Also, we're going to pass through this corridor, military training route, IR-425, low flying or high-bound flying military aircraft. So that's also a reason why it's handy to have some flight following. So I think that's a good choice for us to do. Again, I see no other MTR. Oh yeah, here's an MTR that we're going to cross, IR-211, as you can see. So again, with flight following, we are alerted for that traffic. So that's good. Microsoft Gamer, how do you connect ForeFlight with the simulator? I couldn't find a way. I also don't know. This is not connected with my flight sim. I just use it as a separate chart because I'd like to interpret those charts, and also in terms of my navigation to have an idea of where I am. So I know that in X-Plane, perhaps it's even built in X-Plane 11, also in X-Plane 10, you can just connect through Wi-Fi and you see your own virtual airplane depicted here on the chart, which is kind of cool. And also what many real-world pilots do with a external GPS device in their cockpit. Okay, weather, airspace, runways is fine. Altitude, we checked, 8,500. Diversions, we checked. Frequencies, we're going to set soon fuel. Yeah, we're going to have a look in the cockpit in just a sec. And to be specific, just a moment. Let's first file a flight plan. And it's just VFR, but I just like to. Yep. 70. Destination Lima 52. 8,500. That's a good ground speed to me. And let's also just fuel up. So I think that's good. And it's going to take us 1 hour and 34 minutes. Long distance flight, guys. Interesting. Again, Gulf. That's good. Good. File. All right. Filed our flight plan. Let's hop into the cockpit. There we are. I don't know what's in front of us, but I guess an airplane. It's kind of confusing here. Here's my flashlight. Let me see. Can we see what's actually in front of us? I think it was an airplane, but yeah, a big one, I guess. Anyway, I hope I don't have any damage here on my X-plane, so that once I taxi, I crash. But it seems it's already in my my own airplane. Oh, it's gone. Okay. Cool. What's already taxiing? Perhaps I see some cars. I don't know. Complete darkness. As you can see here, we got a windsock in front of us, and we've got some strong and gusty winds. And I guess that favors a southbound departure, which we also should be headed towards. So that's good. Miniweb, sorry, that was me. I forgot to disconnect. Oh, Miniweb, this was you. All right. Well, thanks for disconnecting. Gives me some space to taxi here. Okay, so strong gusty winds. So that means also crosswind correction. It's going to be interesting, guys. Cold and dark check. Let me see. Park and brakes. Oh, I can see that my yoke is a little bit displaced. Let me see. What is it with my yoke? Cessna yoke. Calibrates. Ignore. I've got the TPM. Interesting flight, guys. Going to be challenging. Finish. Done. How's my yoke? Yeah, that's good. Park and brakes are set. Live has pretended that we have those, and our fire extinguisher as well. Let me just reset the TrackIR. Yeah. Door is closed. Window is closed. ELT is set to auto. Cabin air, let's pretend that that's just fine. Flaps are up, and they are up. My lever. Throttle lever, mixture lever. Luckily my trim works as well. Fuel tanks. Yeah, and someone noted on YouTube that I should also switch my fuel tanks to the left or the right to prevent cross-training here. That's absolutely a good remark. It's not safe though as part of X-plane in this situation, but I should remember to do that in future flights, also as part of this flight. Okay, nothing that we need to do on this side. Circuit breakers are all in. Beacon light should be on already. And again, my switch panel is in sync. Good. Batteries on. So we've got some lights here. We need around 16 gallons of fuel. And as you can see, we've got double that amount. So that's good. And we can check the systems. We also can turn off the flashlight here. Avionics are on and they seem to be working just fine. COM1 is good. Annunciator messages. Panel works good. Works as well. This is all fine. Good. So also check our flaps. They go down. And they go... Are they going down? Where's my flashlight? Here's my flashlight. Yeah, they go down. I mean, X-plane can really pull tricks on you. Flaps up. Good. Okay, they work. Yeah, good. Avionics off, batteries off. Then fuel pump on. And throttle a bit in. Park and brakes are still set. Is there anyone around? Well, we can hardly see. Perhaps we should also just turn on our nav lights already, by the way, because we're already here at in the dark. be more visible. Ah, some other traffic here. Cool. Nice. Some pretty stars. Wow, looking forward to see the ocean. It'll be interesting, guys. Anyhow, fuel pump on. Cut off, and we are ready to go. Let me see. Is my battery on? No, my battery wasn't on. Let me see. Battery on. That explains it why I didn't hear the fuel pump again. Fuel pump on. 1, 2, 3. Good. Cut off. And then we are primed and we're ready to go. Okay. No one's there. Clear prop. Picture full in. 1200. Oil pressure is coming up. Leaning for ground. Back to 1000. Alternator on. Avionics on. And also set our transponder VFR to mode C. Good. So far so good. What I should have done, which I already forgot. Checklist. Reset cabin. Well, it doesn't make that much sense anymore, but I think I didn't forget anything. No, that's good. Flight control test. That's what I forgot to do. To the right yoke. That one goes down. That one goes down. Up, down, up. Trim tab works. Rudder works as well. Perfect. Okay. Lights. Yeah, we can check whether the lights are actually working. Taxiing lights, landing lights work. Good. And again, this is why it's so important for an exterior walk around to also do all the visual inspection also of the lights during your external during that external walk around, which we cannot do unfortunately here with the stock 172. Anyway, that's good. Avionics, yeah, we checked that. Transponder, blah blah. Fuel quantity we checked. Okay, good. And before engine starts, seat belts. Yeah, this is a little bit sloppy of me. I should not be that hasty. Just checklist. Checklist flying. So, yeah, camera doors are all closed. Briefing. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to depart here. And I'm gonna, as soon as my departure is a little bit stabilized, I'm gonna sign in with a SoCal approach and ask for flight following all the way to Oceano. It's gonna be a pretty basic departure, just straight to Fillmore while climbing to 8,500. I'm gonna depart from runway 22, I think. Also looking at the winds here. So no terrain issues there, luckily. So that's going to be the departure. So that means that we need to taxi here to the left once we do. And then we go into the abyss. Also need to make sure that my compass is in sync. That's good as well. Yeah, that's correct. Then frequencies. Nav. Right, so the first is Fillmore, as I just mentioned, 112.5. Nav 1, 112.5. That's a switch. And to go inbound, let me just use the ruler again, 240. Getting already have a reading. That's good as well. And then after Fillmore, we're going to go inbound to San Marcos, 114.9. So we can set that to the nav 2. Let's see, 4.9. Switch. Okay. And that's going to be a course of 270. Perfect. And then we're going to switch over to the Gaviota VOR. That's 113.8. It's going to set that in the standby of nav 1. Nav 1. See, because that one was 112.5. Yes. So in the standby 113.8. Good. And then we fly also. Oh, we can also fly just straight to San Luis. That's fine by me as well. And that is Morro Bay VOR 112.4. Okay, so we've got all our frequencies set. We just need to change the OBS once we pass over those VORs. 112.4. Okay, good. So VORs are set. Also our OBS is set. Frequencies, Aqua Dulce is 112.8. That's also set. After departure, we're going to contact approach, SoCal approach, 120.4. 120.4. Perfect. So we've got an ATIS here. Well, we can pick up on the ATIS, and let's not pick up north here, but let's pick up Van Nuys, for example. I don't know if we can pick up all the way from Camarillo, 126.025 on the CAM2. CAM2. 126. Again, preparation is so important, guys. 02. Let's have a listen already.
KCMA information Oscar. 200 Zulu weather. Wind 270 at 14. Visibility more than 10.
Good.
Sky clear. Temperature 13. Dew point -26. Altimeter 2991. Arriving runways.
I'm going to set that to airport elevation soon.
Departing runways 0826.
Okay, second COM2 ATIS is going to be sent to Barber, obviously, and that's going to be 132.65. 132.65. Awesome. Okay, so those frequencies are set as well. For the airport elevation of Aqua Dulce here, we've got 2660. 2660. So something like this, okay. And yeah, that's all set. Good.